Okay, hello to anyone who would be watching this video. My name's Ken Schaefer, EDU 643. So hopefully I'm going to try and keep this video for under 10 minutes here. I always tend to ramble on a little bit once I start talking to a microphone. I don't know why, but so to get started, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I work at Mount Pleasant Public Schools. I live in Mount Pleasant. I went to school at Beale City, which is close to Mount Pleasant, so I didn't move far from home. I actually went to the tech center at Mount Pleasant, and I decided when I was a younger kid, I always wanted to be a teacher there someday. I teach earth science, biology, and physics at the high school level. I also teach computers and technology at the middle school. So I actually, every single day, I transition from school to school. I taught elementary computers and 7th and 8th grade computers when I first started. Now I've kind of moved in towards my degree is in science. So move slowly but surely getting more science classes in. Now I might be full-time science next year, but still not sure yet. So, analysis. I started looking into NWA data in science because I really wanted to expand my science. Felt like I do spend a lot of time in my master's working with science and very little working with technology, and that's still a piece I really enjoy is the technology piece, and working with my computers class and always keeping the material current and fresh for that. So I thought I'd do my project in science. And then it was kind of funny how it worked out. The next day, we had a meeting for a middle school computers curriculum, and the topic of the meeting was how to build a better consistency for a computers curriculum. Because what we have going on is something kind of weird. So I've been kind of transitioning out of teaching as much computers. I only have one computers course now, and there's 6 computer courses running all year round at the high school. So I only teach like 1/7 of that. I have taught the class the longest, but now what they're using it for is basically for other teachers in the district that aren't full time. Because you don't need any certain degree to teach computers, basically anybody can actually teach it. So I feel like our consistency has really gone downhill, and that's a concern that our district has. And so what they kind of want to develop was a website that we can use for everyone to stay on the same page for computers and keep the same consistency so everybody's kind of using the same assignments, doing the same thing. And they started asking me, well, what do you do in your classroom? I was just like, well, it takes so much time for me to sit down and teach or talk to every single one of these 6 other teachers and try and describe to them exactly what would do. And then the teachers that have tried to do what I do in my computers class actually just end up texting me and calling me about all these questions, because there's 6 other people. It's quite a bit to keep everybody on the same page. So then I decided what a perfect opportunity would be to use this class as kind of a platform to build an online class so that for a resource for all the students, all the other teachers to go to and use. So that's kind of how we started out with this, and they thought it was a great idea, and I thought it was a good idea to use the classes for this tool. So a little background on that. So I designed this project to fit the need of most objectives for a 7th grade curriculum. I'm still implementing some of them. We're still working on this. But we as a department decided these were the most basic things that we wanted, skills that we wanted every 7th grader to be able to achieve and have as they transition into 8th grade and work more on this. Being able to type at 30 words per minute, our district is really, I've been a big one pushing for this, is that we're losing that typing piece where that keyboarding. Kids aren't practicing this anymore. They are just really going out and taking these standardized tests that a lot of them are requiring them to do quite a bit of typing on 2 or 3 paragraphs, and it takes them a long time to do that if they haven't had any typing at all. So it's just kind of weird that with all the testing we're doing, we're not teaching keyboarding anymore. Creating original work using several different apps and programs. I'll talk more about that. Identifying files based on their extensions. It's a big one too, is knowing what you're actually working with. How to troubleshoot a computer and networking problems, just real basic. Understand the advantage and disadvantage of cloud computing. Create visual organizers to solve real-world problems. Identify and research a career of interest. And this is a piece that we just put in last year because the Michigan curriculum actually changed to incorporate career cruising down to the 7th grade level with a counselor. So we had to put that piece in there this year. And working in collaborative group to complete a project and communicating only online. When developing this resource, I really went day by day with my actual class. I started out and I built a page, and then I would come back to it with my class, and they would go through the curriculum, and we'd find out that their links wasn't working, or the video wasn't working, or there was some sort of problem. Just want to check and make sure I'm still recording. Yep, still recording. Okay. Web pages assignment, and they'd give me feedback on the next day of what worked and what didn't work. I made little surveys at the bottom sometimes, and they kind of gave me feedback every day of how it's going, and we're still doing this right now. Actually, we just did it today. One of the biggest things that I've learned along the way is that when you think you have everything working perfectly, there's always going to be an issue when someone else interacts with it. So even when my class went through it, and there was things that I told them how to do, there was little cues that I gave them that must help them out, because as some of the other teachers tried using this and going through this and doing the same thing as me, they were having huge problems with links not working, and I just come to terms with, just when you think you have it perfect, something's going to go wrong or something's going to change about it. Murphy's law. Some of the obstacles I've faced so far. When I was doing my videos, I just actually had to buy a USB microphone so the sound quality would go up. I had just a cheap microphone before that I got from the school, and that didn't work at all for the WebQuest videos that I had to do. Links not working was a big one. Had to delete buttons when files were attached. So I found out in Weebly, when you actually make a link with a button, if you want to change that link, you're better off just deleting the button and going back and starting fresh, rather than try and change the link on the button, because I could never get that to work out. Videos would go down or move. I would use like SchoolTube or something to make videos, or to post videos, or to find videos for the students to watch. And then I had to find different, more reliable sources, and actually was able to get YouTube unblocked for the classroom at my school, which I think is a great resource. Website being down, had to contact Weebly. There was a period of time where I went like 2 or 3 days where I couldn't log into Weebly, and the website was just down completely, and that was kind of tragic there for a little while. Problems logging into different things. That was a big one I found out with the computer's curriculum right away, is I had to figure out how they could get them to create a passwords file so that they could remember all their logins for the different things. And I'll show you more of that a little later. So here's my demonstration. Hopefully my link works. It pulls right up there. So this is my home page that I've built. Here's my directions. I'm not going to read those all to you right now. Contact me. I like to keep a calendar on there just so they can keep track of that. Wonderopolis, if they ever have any downtime, a lot of time I'll say, oh, go read the Wonder of the Day. The Wonder of the Day is just something interesting that they can read and answer a couple questions about. Has a little video, and I'll read to them and go along with it. So I like to throw that in there. And then the weather. I always like to check the weather. Talk to them about the weather too, because I teach science. So under 7th grade tab, that's what I'm working on. These things right here is what I've been working on. I found this format of things and quests off 21 Things for Teachers website, and I actually have that cited on my website too. But I just like the layout of things. I don't like calling them units because it's too much like a book. So, but I do tell them, hey, these things are kind of like the units of the book, but this isn't a book. And then each quest is like the subsections, or the different things within the book. So you have your units over here, and then you have your quests, which are the individual sections of the chapter of the book, if you like to look at it that way. So we're on thing 1, thing 2, and thing 4 is where I've gotten to, or where we were at right now, and we just did this quest right here, thrill rides. So I've been working on quest 3 and quest 4 with my students. And a couple of these things right here, this is all stuff that I got some of the stuff off 21 Things website. I implemented some of my own stuff, like for quest 5 shortcuts. I have a TED Talks video, and I have wacky shortcuts, and I have a couple links here, and I go through a tutorial with them that's not found online here. And then I pulled this off, and we actually post to Quizlet, or not Quizlet, we post here, and they posted all their shortcuts that we have. So I actually have an example for you of what my class just did. Alright, starting here, creating a microtype account. I found out right away that it was actually really handy to build these videos and just show them quick tutorials on how to do things, because when students are gone, it's great to have this tool. Hey, what did I miss, Mr. Schaefer? Well, just go here, watch this video, and do what it says. So you can see that this video
Okay,
plays,
students, what I want you to do today is,
and I go through and show them exactly how to create a typing account. And then I have them get started on their typing. And here's my objectives for the day. So that's one day they do that. Then All About Me PowerPoint. This is actually about a week project that we do. And again, I have my screencast directions about exactly how to do this project. I have it laid out in directions as well. And I'll go through these with them. And then more supplemental things to add down here at the bottom. Then I have a rubric, and I have them grade themselves on this, and then I grade using the same rubric and looking at what they do. I have them drag the circles to where they think what they think they achieved for this, and this is what I go through with them. So that's how they're graded on that. So that's about a week's worth of work usually for them to build this entire assignment. And then we move on, creating Edmodo accounts. So I use Edmodo in my classroom. I've tried Google Classroom a lot, so these are their directions on how to create an Edmodo account. And then the big thing I've found is very important too is rules for using Edmodo or any online site. And if you'll see, my standards are always listed right down at the bottom. Every single page that you click on, I found out that there's always some standard that you can relate. And we use the ITSE standards for technology at our school. There's always some standards that I can get to relate on the daily activities that they're working on. 7th grade, and then creating Edmodo accounts we talked about. Thing 1, so I teach them how to do screenshots on the computer. In this quest, standards at the bottom. Quest 2 is favorites. We use Symbaloo because we use a lot of different websites, and here's another instructional video. We use a lot of different websites, and it's great for them to keep track of. And for all of those websites that we use, it's also handy to have a passwords and usernames folder. So I go through here and I show them exactly how to make a website login name and password, and then I showed them how to encrypt this Word file so that if anybody else does log into their computers, they won't be able to get into their actual passwords folder where all of their other passwords are located at. And I think this is a good tool for them to use in the future, because I have so many accounts with different things I forget how to use them. So I like to show them how to do this as well. And then quest 5, shortcuts, and at the end of each big thing unit, there's a short quiz. So you have to go to Thing 1 quiz and click this link. And I use Testimos for this, and then they can just log in from here. And at the very end of Thing 1, they start working on their digital portfolio. And what I have them do with this is just a place for them to turn all of their work in and showcase it. They turn their daily activities and stuff into me at Edmodo, but they turn in most of their stuff here to their Weebly digital portfolios. Troubleshooting we get into, and then visual organizers we get into is where we go next. So that's my learning resource. I really just started on this and just went with it. It just kind of just happened, and it was so easy to use I couldn't stop doing it. So it turned into a lot more than just what I was using it for the purposes of this master's class, but for such a great tool for my classroom. Then the green box here, I've always had like a list of links, but they were in a Word file for them to go to. Now I have it all linked out for if they have extra time. These are kind of some semi-educational resources they can go to if they have free time. And then if they have constructed time, which is if they finish an assignment early or something, it's not really free time, but they don't have anything to do. I have typing games, typing programs, mouse control skills, and photo fun that they can do. And those are more learning oriented than just the free time games. So that's my learning resource so far. I know I'm getting close to my time here, so I'm going to try and get through this. Implementation. I've already begun implementing this. I talked about that. Their daily activities. I told other teachers that are teaching the class the same, and they stay on a couple days behind me. So that's an important part too, is I have the other classes stay a few days behind me or a couple days behind me so that I can get through and fix any problems that the students might notice and problems the students might have as we're working through it. The most common problems, like I said, are links that are broken and instructions that aren't as clear as I thought they were very clear, but some of the other teachers and students had problems with them. And sometimes other teachers have given me feedback as well, so they'll just send me a quick email, hey, this link isn't working, hey, this video isn't working. So I had two other teachers that are using this actually because I figured they would know it best to do the evaluations at my school. The comments that I received back are what I thought it was most helpful because they just said, "Hey, this isn't working here," or it might be better if you used a video on this one instead of written instructions because they're really not getting clear. Or Mr. Schaefer, hey, can you do a video for this because I'm really not understanding it. So rather than me typing out a long email of, hey, this is exactly how you do it, I found it was easier if I just post a video to my website exactly how to do it. So information on this website was clear and logical. They seemed like they all agreed with that, the two or three teachers that did it. This is a valuable resource for teaching. They strongly agreed with that. All activities, tasks, and assessment directions are written clearly, and the project was easy to navigate. Well, some just agreed with that, and one person strongly agreed with that, so it was 1-1 here. And I would agree. I sometimes I think that my writing is not my strongest suit, so that's why I think I'm better off with the oral videos than anything else. All right, well, that's the end of my slideshow. I really appreciate you going through and having patience with me on this, and thank you.